Hey there. I know this look is long overdue. I said I would do a glam tutorial a while ago. I also did a poll and you guys said you wanted a live video, but I am just not there yet, so bear with me. Everything that I am using, I will write in the description below. I just want to keep up with narrating everything that I am doing. Right now I am just rubbing some moisturizer into my skin and lightly patting that around my eyes. Next, I am mixing two foundations and a concealer. I always like to mix foundations and concealers together because they always have different coverages or finishes, and it's just more customizable to people's skin types. So I am just taking all of that onto the back of the Beauty Blender foundation, warming that up with my finger, and then dotting that in the areas where I want the most coverage. I'm doing that because I'm getting ready to prime my brush, and I am priming my brush because if I were to just directly blend that onto my skin, then I would just take away all the product. It would just absorb right into the brush, and that's not what we want. And right now I'm just working on blending everything nice and evenly. We want a nice thin layer. I think everything looks better in nice thin layers, whether you are doing makeup, doing nails, frosting a cake, anything. You just really want to make sure everything's nice and even. Now I am priming the smaller side of the brush. This is a itcosmetics. I want to say it's a number 7 brush. I'll double check, and again, I'll write everything down below, but I am just taking what is left over and again, just applying it where I want more coverage, underneath my eyes, on some breakout areas, just really perfecting our base and getting a nice even finish. Now I'm going to take the bigger side of the brush and just lightly dab over the areas and add more coverage where I want it. Now with the leftover foundation mixture, I'm going to just go down my neck and my shoulder, make sure everything's one even color. Now I'm going to move on to brows. I'm just brushing through my brows with an eyebrow spoolie, just getting my hairs in the same direction. I'm going to take the Brow Wiz brow pencil in soft brown. I like to do the fronts of my brows with that soft brown pencil, and then I do the ends of them with a darker brow powder or a darker brow pencil or just a darker color period, and then I will blend them together. Now, before I take that darker brow powder, I'm just going to brush through that brow pencil, really blend it together, make sure they're nice and soft. You don't want your brows too harsh because you can always add to it, especially once you're done with your shadow. After applying the dark shadow, I like to brush through again with the spoolie, and then I take the end of that foundation brush with the leftover product and just blend around it. I don't like adding that heavy concealer underneath it. I mean, sometimes it's necessary, but it's just more product and it just looks bad. Now I am taking that brow pencil again and just doing small details in the front, making sure they're even. And then I'm taking some translucent powder on a fluffy brush and brushing through my brows. This really helps to soften the brows. A lot of the times we focus so much on getting that shape right that we just apply too much product, and this helps soften that. Moving on to eyeshadow, I'm going to take a warm brown and use this as my best friend color. By best friend color, that means that this color is going to help us transition from light to dark, and it's usually in the brown family, orange family. And I don't know what I did, but I also somehow cut off half the tutorial for the eyes, but you'll see me using those same three colors over and over again just to help build the intensity of the eye look. And here you will see my mom steal my dog away from me because how could you not? He's just the cutest. Now with the second darkest shadow, I'm really going to focus this on the outer corner of the eye. When doing my eyes, I always focus on my left eye first because it's just my problem eye. I don't know why. My right eye is always easier for me. Also, when I'm doing my left eye, I blend inwards, and then with my right eye, I blend outwards more. It just, I don't know, it helps me, whatever helps you. Now I'm, again, just whatever is left on the brush, dragging that into the inner corner, and then I'm going to take a fluffy brush and then just really blend that in the inner corner, really towards the front of the brow. It just helps everything look more sultry and smoky. Also, when doing your eye makeup, I always recommend to do your eye makeup with your eyes open. It's how others see you, it's how you see yourself. I know, especially with eyeliner, a lot of people like to hold their eye up or drag their eye. I don't know. But point being, you want to try to keep your eyes open when you are doing your eye makeup. Now I'm going to take my finger and go with that lightest color of the trio that we are using and just really pack that in on the inner corners. Just make that look nice and bright, give us more contrast. That's what we're always looking for. We want the nice contrast, but we want to make sure that everything is blended as well. Now I'm just taking that best friend color and going all around the eye. It's okay, it can be kind of crazy because we're going to blend this all out. Now I'm going to mix that concealer and foundation, well, just two of them, and again prime the brush because we want to make sure that we are applying product and not just moving the product that we've already applied, if that makes sense. But yeah, just really blending around the eyes and around the shadow, make sure everything looks nice and soft, using the warmth of my finger just to tap and blend. Now I'm going to take a light matte color. This is going to help us highlight the brow bone and blend that best friend color more. When it comes to makeup, especially eyeshadow, in my opinion, you can't overblend unless you're going for a cut crease or winged liner. Now I'm going to take an even lighter and brighter shimmery color than our main color that we use in the inner corner. I'm going to highlight right in the arch of the brow, the highest point, just because we really want the light to hit there and focus there. Now I'm going to take a mixture of my Charlotte Tilbury powder and my powder foundation. Again, I like to mix finishes and coverages, and I'm powdering pretty much everywhere because I want the coverage and the long wear, except for the high points where I'm going to highlight, which you will see later. And if you're still watching, thank you for bearing with me. I know this is really long. I've never done anything like this. This is definitely out of my comfort zone, but if you like it or if you learned something, just, I don't know, let me know. Help me feel good. I am taking a fluffy synthetic brush with some bronzer and just warming up my face. I'm not really focusing on contouring. I just want to get a nice bronze glow everywhere before I focus on contouring. And because I'm so fair, I like to take my bronzer, bring it down my neck, around my shoulders, collarbones, especially when wearing an off-the-shoulder shirt, which I do often because I really enjoy them. Now I'm going to take a more defined brush with darker bronzer, and this is where I'm really going to focus on contouring my cheeks and in the inner parts of the eyebrow, but not necessarily my nose yet, which you will see in a little bit with a lighter shade. For me personally, I don't like to contour my nose too much. Just the way it looks in pictures, I don't find it flattering. It looks great on other people, me, not so much. When doing my own makeup or doing other people's makeup, I always take my foundation brush and I'll always be blending over harsh lines, whether it be contour or blush. Speaking of, I am adding blush right now. This is a Charlotte Tilbury blush. I love her blushes. And then I'm doing a patricktabeauty blush on top. Thank you, Stephanie. She gifted me this and the lipstick for my birthday, which I will also be using in this video. So doing blush, doing some setting spray. It has a nice dewy finish to it. And now we are going to do some gel liner, and I'm going to smoke out that gel liner with a brush. You'll see that. Now I'm going to take whatever is left on the angled brush and focus that on the outer corner and just lightly blend inwards, but not all the way into the inner corner. Now I'm going to curl my lashes and then apply mascara. Next, I'm going to take my favorite lashes. These are the Arden Demi wispies. I am bending them to a U shape. This is just going to help me apply them easier. And then I'm going to cut a little bit of the end off because my eyes are a bit smaller. Then I'm going to apply a small amount of glue, let it get tacky for about 30 seconds. And then I'm going to try to focus that on the center, and then the outer, and then the inner corners. You don't have to do it that way, it just works for me. Maybe it'll work for you. Now I'm going to take the end of the tweezer, the back end, and just lift the lash up, try to really get it as close to in between my lashes and my eyelid, if that makes sense. And now I'm going to apply mascara to blend them together, my natural lashes and the fake lash. And of course, I get it in the inner corner. I do that probably every time I put on fake lashes, just because I really try to blend them to make them look natural. Moving on to lips, I had already applied some lip balm before I had applied my face moisturizer. So now I'm going to use the Kim Kardashian and MakeupbyMario collection lip liner. And just, I'm not really overlining my lip. I have a scar on the right side of my lip, so I just like to make sure that looks nice and symmetrical. Now I am taking the patricktabeauty liquid lip, thank you Stephanie, with a lip brush, and I am blending the two. I want to make sure that the lip liner is still visible, but it's not too harsh of a contrast between the liquid lip and the lip liner. Because I can't help but mix a million products together, whether it be eyeshadow, blush, or lipstick, I'm now going to take the kkwbeauty and MakeupbyMario lipstick and apply that in the center of the lips, followed by an e.l.f. lip gloss. It's a shimmery golden color. Again, I will list everything in the description below. Now that I'm pretty much happy with how the lip looks, I am going to do some cleaning up. I like to take a fine brush, whether it's squared, angled, just something with a sharp edge to it. And I like to take some foundation and go all around the lip, top and below, to make sure everything looks nice and clean. And now we've given that mascara enough time to dry, the one that I got in the inner corner of my eye on accident. And the friction of that dense brush with the highlight color is enough to buff away that mascara. Now I'm going to take my foundation and just touch up the center of the face, followed by the Hourglass Ambient Powder. I don't feel like my glam makeup is complete unless I set my face with that. And lastly, we're going to take the Elizabeth Arden 8-Hour Cream. This is a very, very thick petroleum-like consistency. It's very shimmery as well. You'll notice that I again primed my brush, but I'm also applying it with my finger first because I don't want to disrupt any of the makeup that I applied. I also avoided putting powder in this area because of that, because it just would have clung to that powder and gotten really patchy and not what we're going for. But you can tell that it just looks like wet. Like, I am very specific about where I like my highlighter. I don't like highlighting the tip of like the Cupid's bow or anything like that. But this is also very once in a while. Like I would never do this daily. This is just too heavy, and I personally have oily skin, so I couldn't. So this is the finished glam look. Now I'm just going to finish off my shoulder, again with that Elizabeth Arden 8-hour cream. Applying a little bit of that first, hydrating the skin, kind of prepping it, and then followed by that Charlotte Tilbury highlighter. But that is pretty much it. Thank you so much if you watched this entire video, and let me know if you want to see another one.